Good morning, everyone. Awesome. Good energy so far. We're going to have fun today. My name is Annette Head. I'm a consultant at Source Allies here in the Metro, and I've been in QA or software development in some capacity for like almost 20 years. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it is true. So pretty passionate about testing, active in the local Des Moines QA community. I'll let Brian say a few words too.
I'm Brian Kampling. I'm a test engineer at Principal, and I've been in this industry for about 10 years or so, been a computer nerd all my life. So.
Awesome. So today we're going to talk about how to think like a tester, and you'll see the parenthetical there, how to test like a thinker. We're not going to talk about test automation specifically or like automating builds and having tests running your pipeline. This is a Devops conference. Hopefully everybody's doing that stuff, and that's kind of like duh. What we want to do today is help us improve our testing.
Yeah, I'm getting tangled here.
Is that me?
No, that's me.
Oh, okay, cool. What we want to do is just kind of have some fun. We're going to do some activities, hopefully get some interaction, and hopefully you can come away with some ideas and thoughts on how to improve the testing that you're doing back in your real life. All right, I'm going to give you a minute to read this classic tester cartoon. Okay, hearing a few chuckles there. Obviously, this is from like 2010. It's not new. Some of you have probably already seen it. But I think it's a great illustration of what I as a tester and Brian as a tester and all the testers that I know, kind of our mindset really. We tend to think in weird ways. As developers, actually, can I get a show of hands at who is actually writing code, production code stuff? So we got a few developers in here. Awesome. Love you guys. That's so great. But I feel like developers are more creative. They build things. As a tester, I don't know why, I like to break stuff or see if I can break it or see if I can get it to do something strange. And I think a lot of testers can relate to this. One of my favorite movies is Elf. I'm sure most people have seen it. When he first gets into the elevator at the Empire State Building and he presses all the buttons. Like, that's my personal meme. That's my spirit meme. So, channeling my 14-year-old here, what even is testing? This is my favorite definition. For those of you that don't know, James Bach and Michael Bolton run a company called Satisfice, and they teach a style of testing called rapid testing method. They're ubiquitous, famous, QA famous through the industry, but testing is the process of evaluating a product by learning about it through experimentation, which includes to some degree questioning, study, modeling, observation, and inference. I love this quote, and I love the word questioning in there. To share more information about myself, on my LinkedIn profile, my kind of personal thesis statement is I ask more questions before 7 a.m. than most people do all day. And you either love that about me or like really hate that about me. I don't know. Ask my husband. But as testers, we ask a lot of questions. But I think this also speaks to there's a science behind testing. And a lot of us came to testing from maybe like a business side or some other like non-development, non-technical background. And so there wasn't a lot of like training or classes. Like I didn't major in QA or testing. That wasn't a thing. But I think there are models that we use, test techniques, test heuristics that we need to follow as testers that we use. But there's an art to doing that as well. Okay, and a controversial statement, technology is complex. That's not controversial, but so sometimes our software that we code or that we're working with behaves in weird ways, unexpected ways. Has anyone ever like just done a quick like bug fix and said, oh, it's like a 2-line change, it'll be easy, no impact, and then had it go wrong? Any developer been guilty of that? Don't lie. We've done it, right? Like it does things that are wonderful and surprising and interesting that we didn't expect. As testers, it's our job to uncover that. There's two kinds of testing. Basic testing is a technical, straightforward technical process. And excellent testing is that plus a social and psychological process. So when I think of this, I think like basic testing might be writing our unit tests based off some acceptance criteria. Like given this will happen. The excellent testing falls more on kind of the exploratory testing side, or just kind of like the deeper dive. That's what we want to get to. We want to be excellent testers and have excellent tests. As developers, we kind of already talked about the mindset of building and creating versus the more inquisitive and maybe destructive mindset of a tester. But a lot of us in DevOps, we don't have like dedicated QAs anymore. I mean, do people have that? It's like getting to be less and less of a thing. So we're expected to still deliver quality code even without like the formal like QA process that we used to have the advantage of. But it's super hard to like change from I built this amazing thing and now I have to be critical of it. Like the analogy, how many of you have kids? How many of you have ugly kids? No one, right? Like, and I'm sure yours are all lovely. But it's really hard to be critical of something that we built. So kind of our goal today is to help us with games and activities kind of step out of our developer thinking into more of a questioning thinking, and hopefully that will go back with us into our real lives in better testing. All right, I want everyone to picture a triangle in your head. A triangle. Got it? Okay. Did anyone's look like that? Or like that? Or that? Or even that? So this is a bias of shallow agreement, right? We might be in a meeting, we might be testing a new or talking about a new feature, and we all agree we want the icon to be a triangle. Great, that's awesome. But we really don't know what that means. We think we do. So we've agreed, we might even go and build this, and then go out to our product owner or our business person, and they say, well, we wanted the purple one, and you gave us the green one. That's not what we wanted. So that's something to be aware of when you're writing your code. Make sure you really understand what the product owner meant or your business person meant. All right, for this I need a couple of volunteers. I promise it'll be painless, and there might be a prize. Oh, fantastic. Okay, would you three come forward? And mind the cord here. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's stand on this side. All right, I'm gonna stand over here too. All right, we're gonna play the pen game, and the object of the game is to just do what I do. So, ready? Okay, I can play the pen game. Can you play the pen game? Wanna try it? Anybody wanna try it? Go for it, Darren, you got it.
I can play the pen game. Can you play the pen game?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
You wanna try it?
That's what I was going to do, so.
Here, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
I'll do it again. Okay, I can play the pen game. Can you play the pen game?
I can play the pen game. Can you play the pen game?
Nope. You wanna try? All right.
I can
Ooh.
play the pen game. Can you play the pen game?
Wait, can you do it one more time? I missed
I
something.
can play the pen game. Can you play the pen game?
Okay, that's better, but it's not it, but it's better. Do you guys see what he did? He moved, like stood where I stood. Like that was a variable that you might want to test. Amazing, awesome, thank you. All right, I'm gonna let Brian do this because he knows, and we'll see if you guys can see what the difference was.
Okay.
You have to do the pen.
I have to do the pen game? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do the pen game. Can you do the pen game?
So that was pretty much close. It was the okay that was different. Like it was just the tiny little variable, and this was just noise. Like I could have done like anything. So the idea is kind of like that red herring. Like have you ever like really gone deep into some code and like you're trying to debug something, and what really was the issue wasn't the issue? Like we have this happen like all the time. I work with a lot of data, so that is definitely red herring material.
I was going to say it ties in a lot with, I don't know if you're familiar with experimental design, where when you're trying to investigate something, looking at, okay, what are the different variables? If you're changing all of them all the time, you're never going to really be able to pin it down. So then figuring, okay, what can I isolate now? For this test, I'm going to take and I'm going to change just this one variable, leave everything else the same. Do that a series of times, and then see, looking at the results, I can kind of pinpoint back, and then keep drilling down.
Yeah, isolating the variable. That was awesome, by the way. Thank you. Thank you to the volunteers for that. All right. Ready?
Yes. All right.
More games.
So we're going to do a dice game. Now I need the individual I voluntold. Michael. So, based off of what I just described using experimental design, we're going to play a dice game. I've got several pictures of dice because we don't have tables. Normally we do this as a group. But we'll put up the picture. You're going to look at the dice, and you're going to kind of guess what the value of those dice are. And I will give you the answer, and then you'll look at it again and see if you can't reverse engineer that. And then we'll roll again, and then repeat this a few times, see if you get it. And then if you have suspicion, then we can start rolling individual dice.
All right. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, I'll see. Sorry. It's not super elegant. Okay.
So, yeah, just duplicate.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
So I have to pick out a pattern?
So you're going to give me a number that you think the value of these dice are, and then I will tell you what the value of my pattern is.
Okay. Any number?
Any number.
Okay. 5.
These dice are equal to 2.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Just let me know when you
Yep,
want to
let's roll again.
Okay, roll again.
Okay. And I would say that first guess is like impossible. It's like it's
yeah.
black box testing. Like you have no idea how the system is supposed to behave.
That's usually when we put in the, like, why did you put that value in?
Yeah.
Does anyone have any ideas?
Oh yeah, shout out Price is Right style. Not Amy. No, I'm kidding.
3. Okay, let's go 3.
18.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Do all the dice come into play?
not necessarily. Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
sure.
Said 18.
18.
Right. This is the first one.
Is it white die? I'm like that. I think so.
So you have a hypothesis.
Yeah.
How do you test that?
Roll again.
Okay. This would be the third roll.
You want to roll 6? Is it 6?
It is 6.
Is it 6? We should probably test again.
Probably.
12. The answer 12.
The answer is 12.
Okay. Have we tested enough?
So to go with the idea of isolating the variables, why don't we try taking those 2 dice that we think are the issue and isolate them?
Okay.
Okay.
Just click on the Devops day in the
Oh,
header
right
piece
there,
there.
okay.
It is 8.
It is 8.
Want to roll these again and see? Or are you good?
One more time.
Okay.
30. 45.
It's a 6.
Yeah,
It's a 6-sided die, so there's 6. Yeah, it does look like a
Yeah.
6.
it is 30.
It is 30.
Yep. So now that since you took all the other dice out of the picture and rolled only those, and the value did change. So if you wanted to test it one more time, you might go grab one of the other dice and try rolling it.
We could also grab the black dice and roll it with another
You could.
by itself, or throw in another dice into those variables to see if anything else changes.
So the first step is figuring out where you think your issue is located. Isolate those, and then start adding and experimenting with other variables to see if that changes the values at all. So if our last answer was 30, let's go ahead and let's throw in like the D8 green. So if we ran this one on its own, so you roll an 8 on this.
Probably no.
That would
Can't identify.
That would be correct, or if it was with the previous roll, those dice values haven't changed, so it would still be 30. So you've now verified that the D8 green is outside of the variables that matter.
Cool.
So,
Is that right, though?
yeah,
It is.
that is correct. It was the black and white die multiplied.
Okay. Let's do a different one. Let's do another. You have another challenge for us?
I do.
Roll all 6.
Team effort.
Oh, don't. Try it again.
Yeah, everybody can
Yeah.
just shout out.
Because we've got several different patterns that we've got exercise. So does anybody else want to try? Any more volunteers?
Somebody just throw out a number.
Yeah.
6.
20.
All right, rolling again.
Yeah, move that mouth, yeah.
Bad.
In the lower right-hand corner. Yeah, hit that.
Anybody have a guess?
20.
Yes. Oh, did I go too far? I think this is the second one, and that was the first one.
Yeah, no, yeah, this was the first one, and it's still 20. Oh, yeah, keep going.
Oh.
There it is. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, this one was 20.
Rolling dice is hard. And what was the value on this one, Brian?
20.
Okay. again. Everybody's working so hard. It's awesome. Problem solvers in this group. All right, I'm going to roll it again.
$16. Do we want to try isolating some variables?
Blue relative variable.
What was the question?
Is blue a relative variable?
Let's find out.
Yeah, let's roll some blue. Whoops.
Null.
Let's roll again.
It's null again.
What's that?
Blue's not a factor.
Blue's not a factor. Do you want to try another color?
Or blue has another requirement.
Ooh, yeah.
So one of the things I like to do when I'm running into these situations is I like to take the system, break it down into its individual components as small as I can. So like in this situation, I'd probably roll each individual die and see if those give me different values. And then the ones that do give me different values, I start combining them and seeing what happens until I figure out the expected behavior. And so from a testing perspective, this comes into application when you're both looking at trying to debug an issue that you've found, so you can actually, all right, I got this weird error message. What can I do to recreate it? Where is it actually coming from? But on the flip side, if I'm given a new application to start testing, I'm also going to start doing this exact same type of thing, because there's no guarantee I'm going to have comprehensive requirements. In fact, most of the time I don't. Or they're buried in some SharePoint server, who knows where. And so I have to go and start experimenting with the system to try to figure out, okay, how does the system actually work? And then I talk to the business and whatnot to find out, here's what the system's doing, is that right? And then I can turn around and, as I understand those things, write automation to make sure it stays that way. Or plug a defect to get it so it is working correctly.
Do you want to keep trying to solve this? Let's roll the green.
Okay.
See what happens by itself. It's my favorite color, so we'll do that. Any guesses?
It is 32.
Should we roll again to test?
It is 4. Now what's interesting is, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but when we were rolling the 4-sided die, the numbers that were being guessed were that die multiplied by 4. So there was definitely some intuition going on, so I don't know if anyone recognized that, okay, there's something with the number 4 going on here. I can't quite put my finger on it, but that's kind of where those test heuristics, the exploring, you might not be able to answer why 4, but I know it's got something to do with 4 until you dig some more and then you're like, that's why.
Yep. So we think we have it. It's the green times 4.
It was the green times 4.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Going to switch back to PowerPoint maybe.
Do you want to go back to, hold on.
Sorry, not my machine. So I think as we wrap up, we kind of want to talk about, the game is fun, or, it's thought-provoking, which is great. But there's reasons to why we do that. If I were doing exploratory testing in my day job, as we were going through and doing the guessing, I do a lot of guessing every day. I'd probably be writing down some stuff. That's very helpful as we're testing and exploring our systems and learning about our systems.
Not playing nice. There we go.
Awesome. Want to talk about that?
Sure. So this kind of goes in the defocus, focus, similar to when we were working with the dice game. Initially, we just started rolling dice and just kind of seeing what's going on. As soon as we got a hint that we might have an idea, we started drilling and we started focusing on that piece, like we did with the blue die. But as soon as we got in there and we're like, this isn't giving us what we thought we were expecting, so then we go back and we defocus again until we find something else to drill in on. And I like this the best, that when confused, focus. When frustrated, defocus. Notice neither one of those says when I get it. So when you're investigating something, you're either confused or frustrated, sometimes both. But it helps to know, okay, what can I do, to move forward and actually solve this puzzle. Thank you. Can you have the slide again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we just wanted to bring back up the definition of testing from Bach and Bolton to kind of wrap us up and close it out. So it kind of goes back to that questioning. I think this group did a really good job of what's the variable to isolate? Are all the dice in play? Just whatever we can do to kind of foster the sense of good questioning and investigation will help us with our software. Also with when we're hunting bugs, it's not just during the development phase. When we do get that on-call that Andrew talked about, these kinds of questions, this kind of focus and defocus can really help us solve a lot of problems. And hopefully you had some fun playing games today. And maybe you can take them back and play them with your team. I actually have a set of dice that I keep and sometimes play with my team just to see if we can figure out the pattern and stuff. So it's kind of a fun little break. I feel as a tester, you're given a lot of stuff to do, and if I'm not productive, actually checking off features, then I'm not doing work. But I think there's value in just the questioning exercises. So.
And I brought my dice with me, so.
All right, let's play.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's it.
Yep.
That's us.
There's Twitter handles. If you got questions on testing or a shameless plug, if any of you play Dungeons and Dragons and you recognize the dice, let me know.
They're my dice, so.
Yeah, they are your dice, but I've got my own set.
So yeah, thank you. We'll be around.